This is Chapter 2 on page 2-1. Chapter 2 is an overview of QuickBooks Online and some navigation basics. In this chapter, you will learn what QuickBooks Online is, the differences between QuickBooks Online versus the desktop version, how to choose the right QuickBooks Online subscription, what QuickBooks Self-Employed is, how to navigate our dashboard, other tools and resources, and how to log into the test drive sample file. QuickBooks Online is an accounting software program that allows you to keep track of business transactions such as income and expenses. QuickBooks Online, also referred to as QBO, is a cloud-based program, which means that the software does not need to be installed on your computer. Instead, QuickBooks Online is accessible on any computer with an internet connection. Your information is protected by a password that you create when you sign up for a QBO subscription. There are a number of differences between desktop, also known as QBDT, which has been around for more than 2 decades now, and QuickBooks Online, which has been around for more than a decade. Next, we will compare the two products so that you can gain a better understanding. There are about 8 key areas where the online version differs from the desktop version: internet connection, product purchase, software installation, data accessibility, tech support, software upgrades, data backup, and data sharing. A brief explanation comparing online to desktop in each of these areas is below. So first, for internet connection, whether accessing QuickBooks on a laptop, tablet, or other mobile device, you must have an internet connection to use QuickBooks Online. However, the desktop does not require an internet connection if it is installed on your computer. The only time QuickBooks Desktop requires an internet connection is when you first install the program, or if you need to use payroll, payments, or another connected service. In addition, if you need to download a release that includes patches and other changes to the software, an internet connection is also required. Product purchase. All online purchases are monthly subscription plans. You can choose from 4 plans: Simple Start, Essentials, Plus, and Advanced. Monthly payments are required for you to maintain access to the software. On the other hand, you can make a one-time purchase for the desktop version, or you can sign up for a monthly subscription plan. The primary differences between the two is the one-time purchase of desktop includes tech support for the first 30 days, whereas the monthly plan includes unlimited tech support. Next is your software installation. With QuickBooks Online, no software installation is required. You can see we just logged in to the website for QuickBooks Online. We didn't technically have to download anything to our computers. So you simply need to open a browser window to access the online website. You will log in with a unique user ID and password that was created when you signed up for your online subscription. Unless you are using a hosted version of QuickBooks Desktop, you will need to install the software on your computer in order to use it. So the QuickBooks Desktop version is more like, just for example purposes, like a Microsoft Office application. Like if you're using Microsoft Word, you download that to your computer, that application. Now, Microsoft Office has also moved to Microsoft Office 365. That's more of like an online version where you get automatic updates to your software. Desktop versions, you need to download updates. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. We actually used to teach the desktop version where we had the application downloaded to our servers, and it didn't have many updates over the years, to be honest. With this online version, as noted, it updates almost every day. So there's at least, a small change on the online version every day. Again, which is why it's hard for, a textbook to keep up with those changes. So our textbook, our pictures and navigation. It's very different already just in the short amount of time that we've been using this textbook because of all of the updates that QuickBooks Online goes through. So please don't get frustrated again when you see all of these differences from your textbook to the online version that we're working through now. As long as you're getting the major concepts like how to create an invoice, add customers, run reports, those main things stay the same. You may just have to look around, dig a little deeper to where they might be located because, again, as I've mentioned, even my videos might be different by the time you get around to watching them and going through the course of what is shown on the online version now. So, just take the extra time and look around for, if we're going through an activity and it looks a little different, take a little extra time just to look around to find where, these certain steps may be located because it may be different. All right, our data accessibility. It is very easy to give your accountant or another user access to your data in QuickBooks Online. You simply need to add them as a user, and they will receive an invitation via email to access your data. With desktop, your accountant must have QuickBooks installed on their computer. If so, you will need to save a copy of your file and either email it, save it to a USB flash drive, and drop it off to them, or save it to a cloud storage system like Dropbox. So you'll see in an activity in the future that you'll be giving me access to your company file. Now, if you were using the desktop version of QuickBooks, like the book says, you would have to download a copy of your file and maybe email it to me or upload it to the cloud where I can access it. It becomes kind of, burdensome and, a little extra difficult. Now you can just add me as an accountant, add my email address, and give me, specific access to your company files. So it's much easier to share through the online application. Tech support. All QuickBooks Online subscriptions include unlimited technical support. Tech support is available via chat or telephone, whereas QuickBooks Desktop includes tech support for the first 30 days after the software has been installed. After that, you will have to purchase a maintenance plan to continue to have access to tech support. Software upgrades. One of the benefits of QuickBooks Online is the ability to access new features, improvements, and upgrades right away. There is no need to upgrade and no additional purchase required. However, in order to access new features and improvements to the desktop version, you must upgrade when the new version is released annually. Data backup. Another benefit of QBO is Intuit automatically backs up your data to their servers. You do not have to worry about creating your own backup. They will do it for you. If you purchase desktop, you will need to create a backup of your data to an external drive, off-site preferably. This will ensure that if your computer is ever lost or stolen, your data would be safe. Data sharing. If you hire a bookkeeper or need to give your tax professional access to your data, you can easily do this in QuickBooks Online. So just like I said, you would add their email and they would have access to your company file. Each online subscription includes seats for additional users. You can log into your QBO account, add a new user by entering their name and email address, and they will receive an email inviting them to access your books. We will discuss how to add new users in more detail in the Adding and Managing Users chapter of this book. All right, and then page 2, 3 just shows some differences just, in a table view of those differences between the online version and the desktop version. Our next section talks about subscriptions. I don't know if these prices are, comparable to what they have now. I'm sure it's not a huge difference if it has increased, but it gives you some examples of the different plans that they have and what each plan entails. All right, page 25, navigating QuickBooks Online. When it comes to navigating QuickBooks Online, there are four primary areas. You have your main dashboard. So remember that these are going to look much different than what your textbook shows now. But when you log in, this initial screen is your main dashboard. Okay, to the right here, it will automatically open up with some tasks that may need to be completed to make your experience a little better. We don't necessarily need to use that. If that pops up on your screen open, you can X out of that just to give your dashboard more room here. All right, and then you have your book says it used to be called a new icon. Now it's to the left here and it's your create icon, but it's still that plus sign with the circle. Okay, and this is where you can create new invoices. It's broken up into sections depending on who it has to do with. Customers, vendors, team, and it has an other section. So this is where you could go to create new invoices, payments, where you could put in that you received a payment, statements, estimates, and so on. Then for your vendors, you can enter expenses, checks, bills, you can pay bills, create purchase orders and item receipts, and so on. Then for your team, you can maintain your payroll here, enter timesheets, you can add contractors, and then in your other section, create tasks, do bank deposits, transfers, manual journal entries if you need to. So this is probably going to be your most important button. If you need to find, if you need to make a transaction of any kind, hit this create button and more than likely it is listed here of what you need to do. Okay, but again, this is your main dashboard with your create icon. Up at the top here, you have your gear icon up in the top right, and this is your settings, which we'll look at in a little bit. So any settings that have to deal with your company, for lists, tools, and also your profile, like your subscription and billing and things like that. So that is your settings icon in the top right-hand corner. All right. Now on your dashboard, in your book, it used to have two tabs, which was your Get Things Done tab and your Business Overview. You can see those tabs are no longer here, but if you scroll down, this is going to be your Business Overview section here. So it's automatically shown on your main dashboard now. There's no longer an individual tab for that. And by default, I have sales and get paid funnel, send a payment request, get paid, and track all your money in. You can link your bank accounts. And you can see these are all broken up into different sections. And these are what QuickBooks Online calls widgets. You can see there's a profit and loss section. See what you make and spend across all of your accounts. Shows my income of $9,611 and I have $6,611 in expenses. Then you have your expenses widget here, and it breaks up to show where your money is going, and you can name these specific categories. What else? Cash flow, and this has to deal with linking your bank accounts so we can see where your money is coming in and out from. And then to the right here, you see you have an option to add widgets. And when you add this, when you click on this plus sign, it brings up your add widgets task pane to the right, and you can select what is shown on this screen. You can see bank accounts, cash flow, expenses, and profit and loss are already checked off. Those are the widgets that were shown on my dashboard by default. So if you wanted to add any of these, just check it off. Let's say we wanted to add, I don't know, our accounts receivable. We'll add accounts receivable and invoices. Check those off and click Save. And you can see now I have my invoices widget. $0 unpaid within the last year. 0 paid within the last 30 days. And we can click on these and you can go right to this and create an invoice if you needed to. And by the way, when you're clicking through your different things, if you ever want to get back to your main screen, you have your home button right here, and that brings you back to your main dashboard. Okay, so you don't have to hit the back button on your web browser. You can just click your home button to the left. Okay, so that was our invoices. So clicking on that, you can create your invoice. And here to the right is our accounts receivable widget that I added as well. All right, so you can customize your dashboard to your specific needs for your business. All right, and again, remember your create button, very important. You can also bookmark specific pages. Maybe you had, a report that you run quite often. If you go to that report, you can add that bookmark, so you can just click right here to run it. Your home button brings you back to your main dashboard screen. This is your business feed. You can connect, again, your banks here to see any bank transactions. Here you have your reports button. This is very important. So on this screen, it will list all of the different financial reports that QuickBooks will run for you. Remember, in bookkeeping last week, profit and loss. If we scroll down, you have different reports. You can see they're broken down into section. So these reports have to do with who owes you money. So you have your accounts receivable aging summary, customer balance summary, and you just click on that and it will automatically run the report for you. All right. Let's go back to some of our other reports. So that was your business overview section, who owes you. You have different reports related to inventory, sales, and your customers. So this is a very important page right here. Okay, and we'll get into a lot of these different reports as we go through. And then you have your all apps. You can connect different applications to your QuickBooks Online company account as well. We will not be connecting any apps. We're just going to be learning the basics about the online platform. All right, let's see. All right, page 2-10. Again, they talk about your new icon. I'm going to hit my home button and we'll just hover over that create button. So here you will find a breakdown of the key tasks performed for customers, vendors, and employees. For example, within the customer section, the key tasks are invoice, receive payment, estimate, credit memo, sales receipt, refund receipt. delayed credits, and delayed charges. Other key tasks can be found below the Other column. These include bank deposit transfer, journal entry statement, inventory quantity adjustment, and pay down credit card. Again, the options may have changed since the textbook was written, but for the most part, it's all, pretty similar to what they have listed there. Again, you have your gear icon, which is your settings button. Within the gear menu, there are 4 primary areas. You have your company, list, tools, and profile. So those categories have not changed. Many of the items found within the gear are global settings that affect the entire company. For example, account and settings, which is listed first in the Your Company section, is again located in the Your Company section. In this section, you can customize QuickBooks Online to fit your business needs. And we'll show you how to do this in the chapter on setting up a new company file. And at the very bottom of your settings menu, you can see you have the option to switch from accountant view to business view. So this is because I'm using QuickBooks Online Accountant. However, businesses who use QuickBooks Online will have a slightly different menu. To see what that looks like, you can click on the Switch to Business View link. In the lower right corner, the Business View tab will display with a cash flow tracker at the very top. This cash flow tracker is only available to businesses so they can stay on top of their cash flow. Right, some other tools and resources. In addition to the various ways you can navigate QuickBooks Online, there are some additional tools and resources that may come in handy. In the upper right corner, you will see several icons surrounding the gear icon, which we just looked at. Let me close out of this. Here you have your tasks button. And remember that task pane that opened up automatically when we entered our company file. That's listed here. So you can always open that back up by hitting this icon. My integrations, you can track your integrations in one place so you know if anything else needs your attention. So again, more external applications that you can link to your QuickBooks Online company file. Any notifications that you might have, let's say a bill is due, you can show there. We have one recommended notification: automatically calculate, file, and pay state and federal payroll taxes with QuickBooks Online Payroll. And of course, we have our settings. Here's a help button. This will open up like an AI chat for you, and you can ask it questions, search for different things on this tab as well. So you could type a topic in here, search for that. Let's say create an invoice, and you could click on that topic. And it will show you or tell you step by step exactly how you could go through and complete that process. So that help button is very handy, especially when you're just getting started. And then you should have an initial in this circle. And here's where you could manage your account, change your password if you needed to. You can sign out from here as well. All right, our next video will be Chapter 3, Accounting Basics.